Hey yo, what is up guys, it is Bazzaa here today, back with another video for you guys, my friends. Today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be comparing Dusty Depot and Dusty Divot together. What is better, what you guys like better, how they both play, and the play style. What Dusty Depot used to be before it was Dusty Divot in the first like 3 seasons of Fortnite, and how it is today in season 4. So yeah, we're going to be comparing those. If you guys do go ahead and to enjoy the video, make sure you smash a like, put on the post notifications. You guys already know how it is. Thank you guys for 22k, as I said last video. We're already like halfway through that, coming up to 23k. Growth has been very good lately, and I appreciate it, guys. But anyway, let's get straight into it, guys. So of course, we're going to start off by talking about Dusty Depot before it was known as Dusty Divot. So in the first 1, 2, and 3 seasons of Fortnite, we knew Dusty Divot as Dusty Depot. 3 little factories in the middle of the map, near Retail Row, Salty Springs, and even fairly close to Tomato Town. And honestly, the factories back in the day, they weren't very loved, and that was for a quite obvious reason. It had a drought in loot, and it always had a drought in loot. And throughout the seasons of Fortnite, you know, Epic Games, they decided not to improve it, and at the time, we didn't all realize, but it was actually a very good location with, even though it didn't have the, you know, amounts of loot that we'd like to get from, you know, Retail, Salty, or Tilted, but Dusty Depot had a lot of perks that, you know, we didn't realize back then, that now we were all crying and wishing that we had our normal Dusty back. So hashtag bring back Dusty Depot. And let's get rid of Dusty Divot, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, but you know what, we're gonna talk about Dusty Divot later. So let's just think about Dusty Depot. But yeah, Dusty Depot, guys, as I said, it's in the middle of the map. You know, it's super close to Retail, Salty, and an old place called Factories that, you know, 99.9% of you guys should know about, unless you started playing Fortnite yesterday. But yeah, Factories was these little 3 factories just above Salty Springs and the left of Retail Row, and just below Dusty Depot, of course. Now, these 3 factories were popularized earlier in the game by, you know, Avery Ninja, and it was basically called the streamer location. And this location was just 3 basic factories, one in the shape of vanilla, one with a single chimney, and one with 2 chimneys. Now, the reason why they were called the streamer factories is because they were popularized by streamers. You know, they didn't have a map on the name, no one knew about them, and everyone that went there was likely to be a streamer. And this is the early stages of this location. Later on, it turns into a very try-hard location, as lots of people knew, you know, streamers went there, then they copied them, and it was all around like a sweaty location. Now, Factories, it had a decent amount of loot. So yeah, that was Factories, and it was close to Dusty Depot, Salty Springs, and Retail Row. Now, you may be asking, well, we're talking about Dusty here, why do those locations matter? Now, we're going to talk about that in just a second, but yeah, that is basically what the factories were for my friends that actually don't know about Factories. And for your information, they weren't named, as I said, so Factories was just a name that they were given by the community. Okay, so we know all about that before Dusty Depot was gone. But why was it that the community didn't so much like Dusty Depot then, as we now wish we still had it? Or for me, at least, I guess, spoiler right there, but a lot of people wish. But yeah, Dusty Depot, as I said, it didn't have very much loot. It didn't have, you know, I guess, it didn't have very much loot, and if there are other people there, you're mainly going to be fighting for a gun, and pretty much whoever got the gun, you're going to have free kills, because everyone else is going to be running around with a pickaxe. So yeah, that was Dusty Depot. Now let's get into why it was such a good location, even though it didn't have much loot. So, many of you guys will know this, but Dusty Depot, of course, as I mentioned before, is extremely close to Retail Row, Salty Springs. It's not too far away from Tomato Town and the legendary Factories. And now, this was really good because Factories was sort of like a checkpoint. It was like a waypoint, you know. If you were to drop Retail Row, you would pass through Factories, clean up some kills, and get, like, the loot. And sometimes, you know, if it wasn't looted, you've got free loot here at Factories. And same thing at Salty Springs. You know, if you went Salty Springs, you know, Dusty Depot was usually in your path, and you would go there, get the rest of the resources and loot that was there. And it was really, honestly, Dusty was a really good location that you could just you know, chill out, drop through, And that brings me to Dusty now, as, you know, if you were to drop a Dusty, Factories was usually in your path, and then you could just drop through there, and then, you know, head on to Salty Springs and Retail Row. So what I'm trying to get at is, you know, Dusty Depot and Factories, you can, you know, you combine those together and you have some really good loot, because, you know, they're all close together. You can drop Factories, then go past Dusty, or you can drop past Retail, go through to Factories, and then hit up Dusty. You know, these like 5, you know, or 3, 4 or 5 locations right there, they all intertwined, and they're all very, very nice to, you know, pass through and get lots of loot, and of course, well, find kills along the way. So yeah, that was Dusty in the first 1, 2, and 3 seasons of Fortnite Battle Royale. That is how most of us knew it. And then we head into where we are now in May of 2018, where we now know Dusty Divot. So let's go back a little bit to the end of Season 3, probably 3/4 through Season 3, maybe a little more, and we start getting these teasers about Dusty, or a meteorite in the sky that we thought was going to hit Tilted Towers, and there were a lot of things pointing towards that. We knew this meteorite was going to hit somewhere on the map, and a lot of us thought at the beginning that it was a way of buffing, or sorry, nerfing Tilted Towers, as there were so many people that dropped there. But we were all wrong, and Epic Games had a different plan in mind that you can considerably, or well, I guess worked and a lot of a different way than what we thought it was going to be, when you know, instead of just hitting Tilted Towers. So the meteorite, it ended up hitting Dusty Depot, as we all know, and now we know it as Dusty Divot. Now, how does Dusty Divot play out today in May of 2018? Well, it's honestly, it's a bit like Tilted Towers. I feel like there was 100 people in the battle bus. You have about 25 people going to Dusty Divot, another 25 going to Tilted Towers, and then you'll have like 5 at all the other major cities, like, you know, Retail, Salty, Greasy, and like Pleasant Park. That's how I feel like it is. Talking about the playstyle of Dusty Divot, it's very weird. I feel like you drop a Dusty Divot, the first thing you need is a shotgun. Like, you don't survive in Dusty Divot without a shotgun. You drop there, you get your shotgun, you usually would consume a hopper gem, hopper crystal, whatever you call them, bounce around, look for some kills. Once everyone's gone there, whether you survive Dusty Divot or not, if you survive Dusty Divot, you're going to have a lot of good loot, and then you bounce away out and then go in whatever direction you're closest to, whether you're in the circle or not. You're probably going to jump out and just, you know, lurk around at other locations and find kills. Now, I feel like Dusty Divot has definitely done its job, and it's definitely, you know, dampens the amount of players that go to Tilted Towers. But at the same time, now I feel like we just have that split into 2. Now, it's better than what it was, but if we go back to the original season, you know, we had, you know, Salty Springs, Greasy Grove, and Pleasant Park being the main locations that everyone would go, and it was really spread out. And I feel like it is definitely actually spread out better, and I could add quickly here that they did add Risky Reels at the same time. But yeah, I feel like the player base is definitely more spread out now. It plays better than it was just before, you know, there was just the normal Dusty. And I like the way Epic Games have thought, you know what, let's not do the obvious and destroy Tilted Towers. Let's go ahead and destroy Dusty Depot, the one that no one goes to, that is now turned into a giant hole in the middle of the Fortnite map. So credit to Epic Games, you know, thinking of something new and creative there. But yeah, guys, that is basically Dusty Divot versus Dusty Depot versus Dusty Divot, whatever you want to say. But yeah, guys, that is basically how they both play out in 2018. What do you guys like better? I honestly want to see your guys' response in the comments below. Please let me know. I'd be very interested to, I know I'll definitely be reading those. But yeah, guys, that is it for the video. Peace out, everybody, and bye-bye.